Hey guys, it's Danny Bell. I hope you guys are having an awesome day today so far. I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves and enjoying this beautiful summer day. Today we're on our Cocobelle 2.0 island, which is a Tropicore island. We've slowly but surely been working on redoing a lot of the areas on the island to sort of 2.0ify it, adding a lot of the 2.0 items. Last time when we worked on this area, we actually worked on the entrance to Cocobelle 2.0. I'm really happy with how this turned out, so if you missed that video, please check it out. We used a ton of these ruined arches. I really like how this little bridge came together that sort of dead ends into resident services in the plaza area. But today, I kind of wanted to focus on maybe working on the flyover zone for the island. I know that that's something that's a little bit OG, but back in the day when New Horizons first came out, we didn't have the ability to dream to each other's islands, so it was pretty common for us to hop on a Dodo Airlines plane and go visit some of our friends' islands. And one of the most exciting parts of that is doing a flyover to see their island from above. So as you can see from Cocobelle's map, the flyover zone is usually going to be a diagonal area, sort of starting from the middle to lower sort of right hand side of the island all the way down towards the airport. So if you're trying to figure out your flyover zone, I definitely recommend hopping a plane and maybe hopping over to an island, something like that, and just take note of where your flyover zone is, but it's generally going to be somewhere in that area. The plan for today is just to create a lot of intricate waterways, keeping it on the first level, but let's start at the construction app and see what we can get going on this. To start out with this area, we're using a pretty big space. It's about 20 squares tall by about 15 squares wide, roughly. That's just an estimate, so depending on what you are going to be doing on your island, this is about the space roughly that we're going to be terraforming and doing all of our waterways with today. And I'll sort of give you a little bit of tips as we go along, but for this type of build, I wanted to create a look on the map where you can actually sort of see the center of this. So I'm putting down some of the in-game sand pathing right here and then plopping a pyramid item on top of it, because the best way to handle a build like this is to sort of drop and place items as you go while you're terraforming the shape. Now I've done it both ways. The very first time I started working and blocking this area out, I did try doing all of the terraforming first, but honestly, once you get to terraforming all the water, it ends up being a lot of redoing and moving the terraforming itself to place the items. So I highly recommend just sort of as you're doing your terraforming, place items as you go. Now I'm going to be using a ton of the ruined items in this because I do want it to coordinate with the entrance area that we created. So we're sort of creating sort of like a temple style vibe going on here, an abandoned ruins area, if you will. So that's kind of the idea behind it. I'm using this really, really beautiful custom design pattern. I'll be sure to link all of those custom design information and numbers in the description of the video. So if you're looking for something like this for your island, you'll be able to find it. But I love this pattern. I'm sort of placing it down as we're sort of marking out where we are going to be placing items, and then I'm leaving the blank areas where we will actually be doing some of the water terraforming. And okay, Flora, what are you doing, girl? She always likes to plop down right where we're terraforming. It totally cracks me up. I don't know what it is about the villagers, but they're so darn cute. I just let them get away with it, I guess. All right, so back to this. We're just placing down some of the custom design in the areas where we're going to be leaving land, and then I'm leaving blank the areas where we will be cutting away and terraforming in the water to sort of create the pattern for this area right over here. So I wanted to create an approach, and I actually have some squares here of the sand in-game path that is actually marking out where we're going to be putting a couple of palm trees, because if you are going to be putting palm trees on your island on the land itself, you do have to have a square of that sand to be able to plant the palm trees. Okay, so now back here, I'm just sort of putting down more of the custom design pattern, and like I said, we'll be putting down more items as we go, and then terraforming the water, working our way from the center out is the best way I can suggest if you're going to be recreating this type of an area on your island. I know it seems like a lot, but honestly, if you have a way to have these items in your pocket as you go, it's the easiest way to do it. You could also carry a tool shed in your pockets too, so that if you do get stuck, you have kind of a way to get to those items. And of course, you can always call rescue services if you find yourself in a jam. All right, so we're placing more of the ruined items. I'm going to be using a ton of the tiki torches over here because I want there to be a really great glow in the evening time. Once we're finished with this build, I will be sure to do a couple of flyovers so you can see what this looks like from above, since that's kind of the goal, is to create a really stellar flyover zone where if you have some friends visiting, they'll get that wow factor before they even leave the plane. So I'm sort of cutting away these areas, and you'll notice tips as far as when you're terraforming water, it can be very overwhelming, especially if you want to create a rounded area. If you chip away at the blocks once, you sort of get this really squared sort of shape going, which is fine if that's what you're going for. But if you're going for something that's a little more natural looking, then you sort of have to hit the block, put the put the land back in, if you will, and then hit it again on the corner. It'll create more of a rounded or diagonal cut in the water instead of just the square area. So I'm sort of varying these things. If you can see from above, there's some areas that are more square and some that are rounded off. So just to kind of give you an idea, that's how I'm creating that. Hit it from the side, and then you'll sort of get this diagonal shape. And if you wanted to do more of a squared off area like this section here, you just hit it straight on. And then, like I said, if you're not sure and you're not really getting the shape you want, don't be afraid to sort of fill it back in with land and then chip away at it again until you get the shape that you're looking for. Okay, so I'm also placing a lot of these wheat field items. I love this item. It's going to be definitely scattered all throughout Cocobelle 2.0. I think it's going to give a really nice look of just an abandoned feel, but also sort of a beachy vibe if you're using the lighter green color like we are here. So keep some of those items in your pocket. I really like all of these statues as well. These are all part of the ruined item set. You can get them in a few different colors, so if you don't like the particular color that you have, just get yourself some customization kits and you can definitely color coordinate these. As you can see, when we did the entrance, I did a lot of the mossy sort of tone going on. I wanted it to look really old, like it had been sitting there for a while. This one, we're gonna make it look a little bit more modernized or pristine, like it's been kept up a little bit more by using this sandstone sort of color, but there's a few different options, so depending on what tone you want for your island, there's a lot of options. In particular, with this custom design path we're using, there's also a few other squares that you can download. I'm, for now at least, only using this one plus some stairs that you'll see we'll use here shortly, but this pattern is actually available in all of the colors, coordinating with the color tonation available for the ruined items. So that's really awesome. The creator of this pattern was really thoughtful and decided to create lots of different options. So depending on what coloration you go with, you can get the coordinating pattern for that. Okay, so now I'm sort of creating the approach, the walkway up to the temple area over here, and I wanted it, like I said, to stick out, so we're sort of chipping away here. I'm being mindful though, because we are going to be keeping some palm trees where these sand squares are, so you have to make sure that you have some areas all around those square patches, because otherwise you won't be able to plant the trees there. So I'm sort of being mindful of that and making sure that there's plenty of space so that when we go through, we will definitely be planting the trees last. They kind of obstruct the views, so I would also suggest if you're doing a lot of fancy terraforming and placing of items, it's not a bad idea to sort of wait to place the trees towards the end, just so that you're able to really see where you're placing your items, because those palm trees can kind of create a barrier and it's really difficult to see behind that. So we're going to go ahead and fill this in a little bit more. I've put more of the torches here in the front. I might add a few at the end. That's one thing to be patient with yourself. When you're creating a space like this, trial and error is really going to be your best friend, whether it be adding trees or placing different items. I really struggle sometimes with trying to decide what height differentiation to use when I'm placing items for a design. So if you're not sure, a tip would be put various items in your pocket, and when you're sort of creating your own area and you're trying different things out, just try different height differentiations of different items, see what looks good and what doesn't, and then tear them down, put them back, and when you find the right item, you can go ahead and replace everything so it's exactly how you want it in the end. That's usually the easiest way, I think, in my own opinion, I guess, on how to do something like that when you're creating your own design for yourself. Okay, so I've widened this area, added the steps. I think this is going to be a really great approach. It is kind of going a little bit forward into this area. Now this area in front of here we'll probably save for another video. I'm thinking of maybe turning that into like a little tiki village or something like that. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing. I always love to hear from you guys. I should say also that you can find me on Instagram at Peppy Crossing Play. So if you are enjoying this type of content, please let me know. I love to hear from you guys. Feel free to give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I always like to get feedback from you guys on what you'd like to see for Animal Crossing content. What do you enjoy the most? Do you enjoy the villager hunts, the build videos? Do you enjoy specific tutorials on different things, different themes on the islands? Let me know in the comments what you guys like to see the most. I do plan on doing a few more builds on Happy Home Paradise, and I'm also looking for ways to tour your Happy Home Paradise builds. So if you have some stellar Happy Home Paradise builds that you would like to show off potentially on the channel, please, in the description of most of my videos, you will find a consideration form that you can fill out to potentially have your Happy Home Paradise designs featured on the channel. All right, so let's catch up on our build over here. I'm just sort of shaping the waterway a little bit and then adding more custom designs. We're just going to be finishing up this space before we place our last few items and then kind of do some investigating to see what we might be missing. You can see Gail over here. She was actually our last villager we found on the last villager hunt for the 20 Nook Mile Ticket Challenge. We had an absolute blast, you guys. So if you missed that video, please check it out. I do hope that we get to do more villager hunts for this island because we do have a few that I think we can stand to get rid of and replace. But yeah, really happy with how these tropical cuties are coming together. We still have a few more dreamies out there that we have to find for sure. All right, so let's see here. So I'm just placing some of these golden roses. I thought this would be perfect for this specific type of build just because it sort of has that royal look to it. I wanted something a little fancy, and I was really hopeful that these roses will kind of bling in the light as we fly over, especially in the nighttime. So I'm excited to be able to use some of those and work them into the design. We're also using a ton of the hybrid flowers and then putting in more of the archways because I think that the more we can have in here to frame this area in, the better it's going to look. In the meantime, I've also been placing more of the wheat field item, and we do have some shrubs, and admittedly, I definitely need to switch those out because these ones are out of season, so I'm hopeful I can grow some of the hibiscus shrubs over here on the back side of the island and sort of switch them out. So if you're looking for something with a little more color other than just the green out of season shrubs, you could either use the shrub fencing, or if you wanted to have the flowers, find something that's in season and sort of switch them out. So I'll probably be doing that once we get everything situated over here. Okay, so to frame this in on this side, I decided it would be fun to use some of the bamboo partitions. I really like this item because you can still see through them. They create sort of a blocked off area where you can sort of separate the plaza over here. And then we're going to use a shell speaker. I wanted to have some really relaxing sort of island type music going over here just to create a nice vibe. So I really love the shell speakers. I know they're an older item, but I think they are really cute and definitely look like they're just a natural item and have a double use because you could listen to music and create an ambiance in the area. Okay, so I'm just filling in over here with some of these really cute stone path custom designs. This is something we've used previously in the island, so I will also put the custom design information for you guys in the description if you're looking for something like this. And just kind of adding a few little details here and there. You could for sure use some of the bamboo lamps. Those probably look excellent in a build like this. So if you're not really a fan of the torches, you could probably use something a little more subtle like the bamboo lamps. Lots of different options for what you could switch these things out with to sort of make this build your own. Yes, okay, I think we're pretty much finished. I think I'll probably pop in a couple more palm trees over in this area just to fill it in a little more at some point. But check this out. I really like how the waterway looks. I think it's going to look stellar from above, and I'm really excited to see how this looks at night. So we're going to go ahead and take a few pics. I wanted you guys to see how this looked first of all during the day. I like how we sort of have the pyramid in the center. That's actually a Gulliver item. That's an item you can get by chance if you happen to help Gulliver when he washes ashore and you shovel up parts of his foam that are missing. You can potentially get a pyramid item like this from him doing that challenge. Other than that, some of these items, I just really like the tonation. I think they all coordinate really well. And my concept for this part of the island is to sort of mix in the idea of Incan ruins, Mayan ruins, that sort of thing. Some of the vibes that you would see in Mexico and that area of the world. So that is sort of the vibe we're going for on this island itself, also with lots of different resort sort of things sprinkled in. So if you're looking for ideas for either a jungle core island or even a tropicore, if you're doing some sort of resort type of builds, there's a lot of videos that I'm sort of putting together for this Cocobelle playlist. So please check out that playlist if you're looking for some beach ideas, things of that nature. Okay, so I'm really happy with how this came together. I like how it actually flows right into the entrance that we've created, and I'm gonna head over to the airport because I wanna see how this flyover looks. We're gonna first do the flyover in the daytime, and then we're gonna switch over to the nighttime. Yay, I love it. I'm really happy with how this came together. I know we still have a little area over there in the bottom right to work with and kind of create a little bit more congruity over in that area, but I really like how this came together, and I think that it's going to look spectacular at night. So let's see the night version. Yes, love the torches. I can actually see we might have to add a few more torches in there just to give it a little bit extra glow for the nighttime, but I do really like how that looks. The torches, I think, just have a really nice brambly wild sort of look to them, and I think that it definitely adds to the Tropicore ambiance that we're looking for our island. All right, yay. Okay, so I think that turned out pretty cute. I hope you guys will give this build a try for yourselves. That's my goal in this channel, is to sort of inspire you guys. Hopefully by breaking down some of these builds, it will help you feel a little bit less overwhelmed when trying to create these spaces for yourselves on your island. And I do always love to see how your version of these builds come together. So if you do attempt this build for yourself, please share some pictures if you'd like on Instagram, and feel free to tag me. Again, my Instagram handle is @PeppyCrossingPlay. I always love to hear from you guys and hear your opinions about what type of Animal Crossing content you like to see on the channel. All right, I love this. I'm going to get the camera out one more time so we can kind of take a little bit of a close-up look at how this came together. This is one of those builds that I think is really versatile. It looks great in the daytime or the nighttime, and that was for sure the goal in this, and I'm just really pleased with how it came together. Yes, I love it. So let me know in the comments, what did you guys choose to do for your flyover zone areas on your islands? Did you decide to do something with a ton of terraforming, or did you decide to do something different than that? Let me know. I always like to hear what you guys have been up to. Savannah's over here checking out what we're doing, having her a late night coffee. Totally love it. So coming up on the channel, I hope to be doing more builds like this, a little bit more work here on the front side of the island, and then we'll also be doing another villager hunt and more subscriber island tours, of course. So I hope you'll join me for that. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this type of content, and if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you'll receive notifications when all of the new content and videos are posted. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Wishing you all an amazing day. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.